My wife posted an engagement photo with her assistant. I said yes. I commented, "Congrats," just tagging our divorce lawyer. The post vanished, but seconds later she was frantically calling, begging me to retract the screenshots I sent her parents. I, 35 male, am or was a pretty simple guy. I work in data analytics. I like quiet nights, predictable spreadsheets, and the comfortable silence of a long-term relationship. I thought I had that. For 7 years, I thought Chloe, 33, and I were building a life. Turns out she was just using my materials to build a separate one. It all happened 3 hours ago. I was on the couch, half watching a documentary, scrolling through social media. Chloe was at a big industry awards dinner for her event planning business, Elysian Events. I was proud of her, proud of the business I'd helped her start. A notification popped up. A new post from her. It wasn't a team photo. It was a professionally shot picture of her and her assistant Ethan, 28. He was on one knee holding her hand. A new ring was on her finger. The caption was sickeningly cheerful. A night of 1,000 stars, and I caught the brightest one. I said yes. Engaged, love of my life, new beginnings. The air left my lungs. My blood went cold. For a solid minute, I just stared, my mind refusing to compute. Engaged? We slept in the same bed last night. She'd kissed me goodbye that morning, a quick, dismissive peck I hadn't thought twice about. Now I see it for what it was. My first impulse was a hot, white flash of rage. I wanted to smash my phone, to scream, to call her and unleash hell. But then, a different part of my brain took over. The part that builds models and analyzes outcomes. Outbursts are messy. They cede control. I wasn't going to give her that. Strategy. That's where control lies. My fingers moved with a strange, detached precision. Screenshot. Save the post, the picture, the caption, the list of people who'd already liked it. Data is evidence. Comment. I kept it simple, brutal, and public. Congratulations. My lawyer will be in touch tomorrow to discuss the assets. Send. I forwarded the screenshot to her parents, David and Margaret. My message was brief. I'm sure this is a shock to you, as it is to me. I'm so sorry. Research. I opened my laptop and found the folder labeled Elysian Events, LLC. I reread the operating agreement my lawyer had drafted 5 years ago. I'd grumbled about the legal fees at the time, but my lawyer insisted on certain protections for my $150,000 investment. A 70-30 ownership split with me as the majority partner. A clause stipulating my initial capital be repaid first upon dissolution. I felt a grim sense of validation. Wait, the post vanished from her feed in under a minute. My phone immediately lit up with her name. I let it ring and ring. The text started pouring in. Chloe, call me. Now. Take down that comment. WTF is wrong with you? My parents are calling me crying. Delete the screenshots. Liam, you're ruining everything. Everything, not us. Everything, her business, her image. The final text before I silenced my phone revealed the depth of her delusion. You have some nerve embarrassing me and my future husband like this. Future husband? I looked around the house I bought at the life I thought we shared. The volcano documentary I'd been watching earlier was over. The narrator had explained how pressure builds silently, deep beneath the surface. When the eruption finally comes, it doesn't just destroy, it reshapes the entire landscape. She had no idea the ground she was standing on was about to liquefy. Update 1. Thank you all for the support. It's grounding to know I'm not crazy. Many of you warned me this would get messy, and you weren't wrong. The storm made landfall at 2 a.m. last night. The doorbell started ringing incessantly. I knew it was her. I walked to the door, my heart pounding a dull, heavy rhythm. I didn't answer. I just watched the camera feed on my phone. Her, pacing on the porch, her face a mask of fury. Then I did something I knew was a point of no return. While she was standing there, I opened the app for our smart lock and went through the process of deleting her access code and fingerprint. The app asked, "Are you sure you want to remove this user?" I pressed confirm. I finally answered through the intercom. "It's 2 in the morning, Chloe." Her voice was ragged. "Let me in, Liam. It's my house. The title is in my name, Chloe. Please go. We need to talk. You've blown this completely out of proportion." "A public engagement announcement is a fairly large proportion," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Then she tried it. She put her thumb on the scanner. Nothing. She furiously typed in her code. The lock chirped with a rejection tone. I watched her face on my phone as the realization dawned. It wasn't just that I was angry, it was that I was already taking things away from her. The shift from fury to genuine panic was visible. "You changed the code?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "You locked me out?" "I'm protecting my assets," I said. "You should understand that." She unleashed a torrent of abuse then, threats and names I won't repeat. I cut the intercom and watched her eventually give up and retreat to her car. The next day, the real games began. I got a call from her father, David. He's a stern, old money type, and he tried to take a disappointed headmaster tone. "Liam, this public display, it's graceless." "With respect, David, my wife announced her engagement to another man. I think the Grace ship has sailed, and she was the one who torpedoed it. She's a mess. She made a terrible mistake." It wasn't one mistake, it was 1,000 of them. The lying, the affair, the planning, the ring, the public post. That's a project plan, David, not a mistake. He sighed. "What about the business? Don't ruin her over this." "The business is a legal matter," I said, ending the call. The first dirty trick surfaced this afternoon. I got an alert from my bank, a debit card charge from the Elysian Events account at a luxury handbag store for $2,800. Because it was a debit, it went through instantly. I felt a surge of adrenaline. I immediately called the bank, reported the card stolen, and began the arduous process of freezing the primary account. While on the phone with the fraud department, another alert came through, a declined charge for $5,000 from a travel agency. I was too late for the purse, but I'd stopped the vacation. It was a small, infuriating loss, but a valuable lesson. She was going for scorched earth. The war had begun, and she had just given me my first piece of evidence for the financial battle to come. Update 2. This has been the longest month of my life. The divorce is filed, but her lawyer is fighting every single point, trying to frame the business as a marital asset despite the LLC agreement. My lawyer, Marcus, says this is a standard delay tactic. It's working. I feel like I'm treading water in a sea of legal fees. The entitlement escalates. Chloe's new strategy is to act as if she's been wronged. She's launched a carefully orchestrated smear campaign. She's telling mutual friends that I was a controlling husband, that I held the business over her head, and that my explosion online is proof of my emotional instability. A few people bought it, which stings more than I'd like to admit. Ethan, the fiancé, tried a subtler move than I expected. He didn't send a stupid email. He started calling key clients, introducing himself as Chloe's partner and the new head of operations. He was trying to transition the relationships over to him personally before I could legally lock them down. I only found out because one of our oldest clients, a woman named Carol, got suspicious and called me directly. "I don't mean to overstep, Liam," she said. "But who is this Ethan fellow? He was trying to get me to sign a new contract under a different company name." The audacity was breathtaking. They were trying to poach the entire client list and restart under a new name, leaving me with the shell of an LLC. That phone call was a critical wake-up call. The threat was more advanced than I realized. The digital battle. As many of you predicted, gaining control of the online presence was a nightmare. The Instagram, the website, the Facebook page, they were all tied to a recovery email that was her personal account. I had no access. For weeks, she was still in control of the company's public face. She didn't post anything, but she would delete positive old comments that mentioned me and pin ones that praised her exclusively. It was petty, digital warfare. My breakthrough came from a moment of pure luck. I was combing through old shared documents on our cloud storage, looking for financial records, and I stumbled upon a spreadsheet from years ago titled Business Passwords. And there it was. The original login for the Elysian Events Instagram account. My heart nearly beat out of my chest. I logged in, immediately changed the password, and linked it to a new, secure email address. I finally had control of the main platform. It felt like capturing the enemy's flag. I spent that night methodically documenting everything, then I handed it all over to Marcus. The attempted client poaching, the fraudulent debit card charge, the smear campaign. Every action she took to undermine the business was an action that undermined her own legal claim to it. I feel exhausted. This isn't a clean, satisfying demolition. It's a grinding, ugly siege. There are days I just want to give in, to dissolve the whole thing and walk away to have it be over. But then I remember her face in that photo, and I log into my lawyer's client portal and upload another piece of evidence. Final update. Hello everyone. It's been a long road. The divorce was finalized last month. The 10-month battle was every bit as draining and expensive as you can imagine. Her lawyer tried to argue the LLC was a sham to hide marital assets. My lawyer, Marcus, systematically dismantled that argument with the evidence Chloe herself provided. The attempted wire transfers, the fraudulent charge, the testimony from the client she tried to poach. It all painted a clear picture. She wasn't a partner trying to protect her stake. She was a departing employee looting the office. In the end, the judge upheld the LLC agreement. She walked away with her 10% stake in the company's valuation after my initial capital was repaid. It came out to about $22,000. She got half the equity from the house, a significant sum, but nowhere near what she'd have if she'd been awarded a piece of a thriving business. The real consequences weren't financial, but professional. After I secured the digital assets and froze the accounts, I made my move. I knew I couldn't run an event company, but I could own one. I spent a month quietly searching and found Amelia, a brilliant senior planner at a rival firm. She was underpaid and frustrated, hungry for a chance. I offered her Chloe's old job, a huge salary, and, crucially, a partnership track. I didn't just want an employee, I wanted someone with skin in the game. Our first 6 months were tough. We had to fight for every client. Chloe, in her desperation, had badmouthed us to every vendor in the city. 2 major caterers refused to work with us. We had to build new relationships from scratch. It was a slow, painstaking process. We called our new brand Augustine Affairs. We wanted something that sounded timeless and strong. The turning point was Carol, the client who had tipped me off about Ethan. She was a major figure in the city's philanthropic scene. She'd been disgusted by Chloe and Ethan's tactics and became our biggest champion. She hired Augustine Affairs for a massive charity gala. Amelia knocked it out of the park. The event was flawless, and suddenly, the tide turned. The vendors who had shunned us were now calling us. The final nail in Chloe's professional coffin was the feature in a major lifestyle magazine 2 months ago. It was a huge 4-page spread on Augustine Affairs, the resilient and visionary event company that's redefining luxury. It lauded Amelia as a fresh, new voice. There was a gorgeous photo of Amelia and her team in our office, the one Chloe had designed. They linked to our Instagram, the same account with 15,000 followers she had used to announce her fake engagement. I heard through the grapevine what happened to Chloe and Ethan. Their relationship crumbled under the financial strain and public failure. Their attempt to start their own company was a disaster. No one trusted them. He now works in electronics retail. She, I heard from her father, moved 2 hours away to live with her sister, completely defeated. The shame was too much to face here. As for me, I'm not the same man I was a year ago. I'm tougher, more cynical. But I'm okay. The rage has been replaced by a quiet sense of finality. I sold the house and bought a condo in a different part of town. Overseeing the business side of Augustine Affairs has been surprisingly fulfilling. I'm not just a data analyst anymore. I'm a business owner. This wasn't a clean win. It was a messy, brutal, and expensive war of attrition. I have the scars and the legal bills to prove it. But I also have a thriving business and my self-respect. She wanted a new beginning. She got one. It just wasn't the one she pictured. And as it turns out, neither did I. Mine is better.